So if you haven't got notes, then you got your notes.
No.
Yeah. So we talked about last week lines intersected by transversals and the relationships of the angle. If the lines that are intersected are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. If the lines by the transversal are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. The interior angles are congruent.
And this makes everything happen.
All exterior angles are congruent. The same side interior angles and same side exterior angles, though, are supplementary.
Your diagnosis. Yeah, that was showing us the board.
Now, you cannot forget that every time we have vertical angles, glad we're all getting these notes down because this is going to be kind of a big part of what we're learning today. It's going to be in your text. Yeah, that is chatting away. We're still with people who are paying attention to people not chatting, right? So, vertical angles are always congruent. A linear pair are always supplementary. That is not going to go away. That will always be true. So we will have cases where we can identify vertical angles and a linear pair. So really, again, it's going to be, are we going to set these equal to each other, or are we going to add them to get 180? That's going to be your two options. Now, there is a hint. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. The angles are both acute or both obtuse. Then they're congruent. If the angles are both acute or both obtuse, then they are congruent. Okay? Now, that has to be, in fact, if they have a relationship, and the corresponding interior or alt exterior, they're either going to be both obtuse or both acute. Okay? Now, if they're not connected by a transversal, we can't say anything. These are angles that are connected by a transversal.
Cargo now.
Yeah, that's a mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Now, if one angle is acute and the other is obtuse, then they are supplementary. So, if all else, if you just have no idea, then just look at the two angles. If they're both acute, probably, most likely, 99% of the time. And the only time it's not the case is if they're not connected by that transversal. But then again, a lot of criminal lines.
One is obtuse, one isn't.
Obtuse is bigger than 90, acute is less than
Yeah, if one,
that. One is obtuse and the other is acute, so if they're opposites, then they're supplementary. So again, you just cannot remember, on your angles, something. If you can't remember those rules, just look at the angles. If they don't look the same, they're probably not the same. Okay, they're probably supplementary. So let's look at, we have already. So let's look at these angles here. Let's say give your reasoning. We will. Okay. So you already did the homework where you had to identify that these are corresponding. These are alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, same side. You've already done that. So it should be familiar with that. Now from this, you can just say congruent because they're this. Okay, or supplementary because of this. So let's look at 3 and 5. Now, are both of these acute? Obtuse? Yeah. They're both acute, which means they are congruent. Okay. Congruent.
Can C O N be count as congruent?
You can just use that symbol. Yeah. So that is the congruent symbol, equals with a wavy line above it. Okay. So we will have more symbols, like again, this is congruent. You know the approximate symbol, right? Just two wavy equal lines. And then there's this one, which is one wavy line. That is simple. We will deal with that later on. The viewers will have that down in there. So if you see this symbol, yes, that's congruent. Now these are alternate interior. And that's your reasoning. So let's look at 1 and 8. Now they're on the same side of the transversal, and 1 is acute and 1 is obtuse, which means these are complementary because these are same side exterior. All right. 2 and 6. Well, these are obtuse. So they are equivalent. All right. They're also corresponding. It's to get the reason. That's your reason. I guess it should have comma here. Now, on the homework, you don't have to give the reason. You just have to give the value, which is what we're going to do in a second. One and 7. Congruent. Those are alternate exterior angles. All right. 4 and 5. Oh. Up there. They're the same side interior. All right. 3 and 7. And they're corresponding then.
Wait, how is D always? Oh, yeah, never mind.
5 and 6. Now 5 and 6, they are supplementary because one's acute, one's obtuse, obviously. The reason for that is they are a linear pair.
What?
Linear pair. They are adjacent to each other. They're not connected by the transversal. They are just adjacent angles that make a straight line. Yes.
So that means 1, 2, 4, 2, 3,
So it's 1, 4, 2 and 3, 5 and 8, and 6 and 7. Yeah. Now 2 and 4 are what kind of angles? 4 here?
adjacent?
Adjacent because they don't share a side. They do share a vertex, but not a side. Vertical, and all vertical angles are all congruent. All vertical angles are all congruent. That's getting right here. Vertical angles are congruent. Linear pair, supplementary. Now, we are given that angle 1 is 65 degrees. Angle 1 is acute. So give me another acute angle. That's also 65 degrees. Give me another acute angle.
5 and 7.
So those are also 65 degrees. That's angle 1, 3, 65, 5, and 7, 65, 65. Now, we can say, based just on angle 1, so this is all going to be based on angle 1, that angle 3 is what angle 1?
Vertical.
Vertical.
Wait, what?
So angle 3 is vertical to angle 1. They share a vertex, and they are opposite sides, opposite rays.
Oh,
What is angle 5 to angle 1? Yeah, corresponding to angle 1. And then angle 7, you could say it's vertical to angle 5, or corresponding to angle 3, or you could say it's what? Alternate exterior to angle 1.
Wait, so we only go for angle 1?
You could do it for either, as long as your justification is correct. You could have said any of those and it would have been correct. So you could have said vertical to angle 5. You'd be correct. You could have said corresponding to angle 3. You'd be fine. Just like for angle 5, we could have said is alternate interior to angle 3. It would be fine.
Oh, okay.
So any of the reasons would be perfectly fine. I'm just using angle 1 because that's what we're getting. Now, angle 1 and 2 are adjacent, and one's obtuse and one's acute, which means they are supplementary. So what's 180 minus 65? 115, which means all the remaining angles are what? That's it. This usually should be really simple. Because it's either going to be equal or what's left out of 180. Again, if you have the acute angle, then subtract out of 180 to get the obtuse angle. Now, angle 2 is a linear pair to angle 1. That's why I don't really care for the whole justification, give your reason, because you can all have different answers and still be correct. Okay? For angle 3, angle 4 is vertical to angle 2, but it's also a linear pair to angle 1. So either one's fine. You can say vertical to angle 2 now that we know what angle 2 is. Okay? Or you can say linear pair to angle 1. Either one's fine.
So you didn't say anything because I was going to say corresponding
Corresponding to 8?
to. Yeah.
That would be true. The only thing about that, I'm fine with it. Absolutely fine with it. The only thing about that is I don't know what 8 is yet. I mean, I know what it is, but I haven't based 8 off of anything else yet
Oh, so it has to be something.
that we already have.
Okay.
Sometimes 2 and 3, like I could say linear pair to 1, linear pair to 3, because I have those already by the time I get to 4.
Okay.
All right. Or you can say vertical to angle 2. I don't care because your homework is just going to ask for the number. It's not going to ask for justification.
Okay.
That's a lot of work here. So I'm not going to worry about the justification anymore. Okay? I'm not going to. Okay? You do not have to justify this. What we're going to do is we're just going to find the values that I'm going to skip this notes altogether and go straight to number 5. Yeah, we got some interesting questions here, so I want to practice some of these. So we are given only that what angle 5 is 82. Angle 5, that's 82 degrees. So because all these lines are parallel to each other, all 3 lines are parallel, that means every acute angle is 82 degrees. So what other angle is 82 degrees? 7 and 4. 6.
Is 9 1?
Oh, man, there's one more.
11? 5? 3? 8.
8. 82. 82. 82. 82. All right, which means what's left for all the other angles?
Well, 180 minus 8.
Which is, you said 98? Yeah.
The rest are 98.
So everything else is 98 degrees. Now, what makes this different from example 5 here is that we have different transversals. So that doesn't mean just because I know that angle 6 is 75 degrees and that's acute, that every acute angle is 65 degrees. This is where it gets a little more challenging. So 75 degrees. Now, I do know that 1 and 6 are vertical. So 1 and 6 are vertical, which means angle 1 must be the same as angle 6. Right? I also know that 14 is corresponding to angle 6. So 14 must also be 75 degrees. And what's vertical to 14? 9. So that must also be 75 degrees. So let me write these in here so I know these 75. 75. All right, and we're given that angle 12 is 121. And what's vertical to angle 12? So that must be 121. Vertical angle should always be the easiest one to find. 121. Right. Now, angle 4 here is same side interior to angle 7. So I'm going to do 180 minus 121. And that is going to give you what? 59. Close. 40. Carry it. Carl first.
It's 5 right, Jason.
You're right. No. You're right. 59. I'm wrong.
Yeah, let's go and check it. It's not 170 degrees.
Yeah. So 59. You got angle 4 59, which means what else is 59? Yeah. 59 degrees. Right. Also, there are two other angles that are 59 degrees. 3, yeah, but there's 2 more.
2 and 5.
11.
11 and what's vertical to 11?
8.
There. 11 and 8. 59 degrees. All right. The reason why 11 is because that's corresponding to 4, and 8 is vertical to 11.
It's 5 not corresponding to 12.
5 is not, because it has that extra line right here. The sum of 5 and 6 are. So 5 plus 6 is corresponding to 12. Which means if angle 5 and 6 correspond to 12, that means 5 plus 6 must add up to what? 121. Do we know what angle 6 is?
Yeah, 5.
So what's 121 minus 75? That I'm going to borrow first here. 6. 1146. So angle 5 must be 46 degrees. And what is vertical to angle 5?
2.
Angle 2, 46 degrees. The only thing left is 10 and 13, and both of those are linear pair to 75 degrees. So what is 180 minus 75?
105. 110.
So angle 10 and angle 13 are both 105 degrees. 75.
Oh, yeah.
That's as hard as I would give to you. I would not do question 7. 7's a bit rough. So we're not going to worry about question 7. Okay. Now, we can do question 6, though. Here's the thing. Only 2 lines are parallel, which means only these, only that set and this set will have a relationship between each other. Right? So if I know that angle 7 is 38 degrees, right, that means only every acute angle in this purple section will be 38 degrees. That means angle 5 is 38 degrees. Angle 13 is 38 degrees. And angle 15 is 38 degrees. Right? But that doesn't mean anything for angle 1, 3, 9, 11, even though they're acute. They're not connected by that same transversal. Okay. Now, what does it mean for angle 6, 8, 14, 16? If all those angles are 38, what's supplementary to 38? -3. 142. So that means that angle 6 and 8, 142 degrees, 142 degrees, and 14, 16. degrees, 142 degrees. All right, we're given angle 10 is 102. So what else is 102? 12 and 2 and 4. Now, what's left if we take 180 minus 102? 78. 78 degrees, 78 degrees, 78 degrees, 78 degrees. That is going to be it for our notes today. I'm going to go ahead and open up the homework. Your homework is going to be not quite like the notes because it's going to be one individual question per time. Yeah.
Why didn't we have so many quizzes?
Wow.
So close.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't make the schedule.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that.
It's next
If
week.
they would just teach over like just like last one and then this one and put it together
Make one big test. Yeah, I know. Nope. They did not.
instead of just quizzing.
No, it's
It's next week.
Oh.